I would have had that Golf R, I would have, honestly. What the duck is that all about? Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Today's video is a review of the heavily updated Volkswagen T-Cross. The T-Cross was launched in 2018 and was Volkswagen's entry-level SUV, sitting beneath the T-Roc in the range. Though things got a bit more complicated in 2022 when the Taygo was launched, which was effectively a more swoopy styled version of the T-Cross. I'm a big fan of the T-Cross because I prefer its more chunky, rugged SUV styling to that of the T-Roc and the Taygo. Plus, because it's based on the Polo platform, there's no four-wheel drive option, so it's as efficient as you can get if you want the high driving position of an SUV. So in today's video, we're going to see how Volkswagen have made what is pretty much a perfect car for so many people even better by having a very close look at this Rubber Ducky yellow example. Okay, before I give you the usual tour of the outside, the inside, and we go for a drive, I just want to remind you guys how you can support the channel. The easiest way to do that is to subscribe. We're still getting loads of views from non-subscribers, and it's absolutely brilliant to get those views. But if you like what you see and you haven't subscribed already, then I'm sure you know what to do. And big thanks to every single one of the existing 57,000 and a bit subscribers. I do value every single one of you, so thank you very much for your support. Right, onto this T-Cross then. So here we have R-Line spec with the 115 horsepower, 3-cylinder, 1-litre petrol engine coupled to the 7-speed DSG gearbox. This car on the road is £30,220 plus 350 for the optional rear view camera, making 30,570. All T-Crosses are powered by petrol engines. They're all front-wheel drive, as I said earlier, and this one's got DSG, but you can have manual should you wish. Now let's talk about the colour. It is indeed called Rubber Ducky Yellow, and a bit like Boaty McBoatface, this was chosen via a poll organised by Volkswagen UK. According to Oliver Lowe, who is the T-Cross product manager at Volkswagen UK, Milton Keynes, some might say putting a paint name to public vote is a quacker's idea, but we were confident people wouldn't get in a flap while trying to decide on a new name, and we think Rubber Ducky Yellow was a really excellent choice. What the duck is that all about? And I should point out, it's a free colour, so it's not an extra cost option, and I think it kind of suits this car. But if you live in certain parts of the Cotswolds, then it may not be a good idea. Okay, now let's have a look around the outside of this Rubber Ducky Yellow T-Cross. Well, you probably don't need me to tell you that this is not a night and day different car to the outgoing T-Cross, because this is a relatively mild facelift. It's not a completely new generation of a car. It's still got that cutesy compact SUV styling. There's nothing really too progressive or dramatic about it. If you want that, then the T-Roc and Taygo are there for you, but I like it just as it is, and in this colour it's got a lot more presence than a lot of T-Crosses, and being R-Line, well, it's probably as good looking as a T-Cross can get. A first for the T-Cross with this facelift is the adoption of LED matrix headlights, which are standard on the style model. We've just got the normal LEDs here. Obviously we've got a big air dam being a sporty R-Line. We've got 17-inch Valencia wheels in an electro grey finish, which works really well with the yellow. We have got 65% tints from the B-pillar back, silver roof rails, and we have got the model designation on the side of the car, which we've already seen with the Golf 8 facelift. I think the R logo works actually quite well. I'm just not sure that the GTI logo being 3 characters looks right. Maybe we'll get used to that on the Golf, but no fear of there ever being a GTI T-Cross, so don't have to worry about that with this car. A minor change, but important for some people, is that Volkswagen have upgraded the tow bar capacity, so now you can carry 3 electric bikes or tow heavier stuff than you could with the old T-Cross. That's very popular in Europe, maybe not so much here in the UK. We've now got more intricate LED tail lights, although the T-Cross has always had a reflector section on the tailgate, so it's not as dramatically different as, say, with the new Tiguan. No exhaust pipes visible. There must be one somewhere. Yeah, it's just there. And then we've got the traditional torsion beam rear axle, so no multi-link on this MQB 80 platform. Let's have a look inside and see if there's more difference than on the outside. Okay, well, first impressions are that it's not that different. We've even got the old Volkswagen key that goes back to Golf 7 of 2012, but we'll come to that shortly. Let's just have a look at the quality of the materials. And, you know, bear in mind, this is the entry-level car. It's not actually that bad. Got contrast stitch there and soft padding there, chrome tips on the switches. Some interesting diamond trim there. Yeah, that's not bad for a car at this price point. Got an R sill protector and carpet quality. You know what? This is the same now pretty much across the Volkswagen range. Nice quality floor mats though. Stainless pedals. Traditional headlight switch. And that sort of familiar R-line fabric on not particularly looking sporty seats. Manual lumbar support, manual adjustment right through, actually. Okay, let's get in the car and see if we can spot anything particularly different. Well, we've got the now common button steering wheel, which is just like that in the new Golf facelift and the Passat and the Tiguan, so this shouldn't upset people. We've got a bit of a throwback to the traditional, well, not a traditional climate control panel, but one that's still separate to the infotainment screen. There's no knobs or buttons, it's still touch, but it's a bit more intuitive than ones that are squeezed into the infotainment screen, particularly that of Golf 8. We have got standard heated seats, 2 USB-C ports at the front, 2 at the back, which is pretty good going for a car in this segment. Wireless app connect as well, I think that must be new. So that's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Centre armrests, cup holders, non-adjustable, but they'll do the job. Do you know what? It's actually not bad. There's a bit of stitching on the dash, which I don't think we had before, which looks good. This is all right. It's a soft moulding, better than the original T-Rock. Virtual cockpit, 10.25-inch digital cockpit Pro. And we've got front and rear parking sensors, which, you know, you do take for granted, but on cars at this price point you may not have. And we've got that optional camera as well, so it's going to be an easy car to park, even though we don't have the 3D bird's eye view camera. We've got the black headlining for the sporty look. No sunglasses holder here. No flop lining in the door pockets. What's the glove box like? Yeah, just scratchy plastic, but that's acceptable at this price point. Yeah, it's actually pretty inoffensive, and you can customize this. Infotainment is a bit of a throwback, but you know, for a lot of people it will be better in many ways because it just works. You know, it's just like Golf 7.5, I think, and nobody ever complained about that. Yeah. Okay, let's get in the back and see what the space is like in there. Also, we do have driving modes. Well, hey, we don't have dynamic chassis control, sadly, but yeah, they're there if you want to have a fiddle with them. And actually, this car's got adaptive cruise control, which is quite unusual in this segment. And once you've got used to it, it's really hard to do without it. So you can buy some really expensive Audis and Porsches that don't have it. And now we've got it in this 30k T-Cross. So my driving position, I am 6 foot tall. This is Volkswagen's entry-level SUV. And, oh my God, I fit actually really comfortably. It's a little bit oppressive in here because we've got a dark headline and we don't have a sunroof. But yeah, it could be a lot worse actually. There's quite a bit of headroom. I'm very impressed. Of course, this seat does move back and forth, and we're actually in the rearmost position, which isn't a bad thing because that still leaves quite a lot of boot, but you can go forward like that as well if you want to maximise the luggage space without folding the seats down. But we do have a 60-40, not a 40-20-40. We'll have a look at the boot now, but yeah, very good. Although, having said that, Volkswagen haven't resisted downgrading these door cards, which are pretty horrible. They look like a 1980s Lada. So to open the boot, we don't press that. That seems to have gone out of fashion. We press the button under there, and it comes up by itself, but it's not a power tailgate. Okay, so the boot capacity then. Well, with the rear seat in this position as far back as it goes, which maximises passenger space, you get 384 litres, which is pretty similar to that of a Golf. With it forward, you get 455 litres. So let me just demonstrate what that looks like. And there we go. So yeah, that's quite a bit bigger. And down here, there's nothing, just a tyre repair kit, but you can get a spare wheel in there if you wish. And you can lower the boots like this, much easier with 2 hands. There you go. And yeah, there's a bit more room. It's a bit messy down there, potential for losing stuff under the seats. If you fold the seats down, you get 1,281 litres, which weirdly, bearing in mind this is a smaller car, is actually more than the Mark 8 Golf. Okay, let's have a quick look under the bonnet. And because this is a cheap car, we have the left-hand drive bonnet release. We are not in a month of Sundays going to get a telescopic strut for this car. So there's a keep fit stay just there. So there we have a 1 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine with 115 horsepower, turbocharged, no mild hybrid, none of that rubbish. And that's an engine I'm very familiar with because it's basically the Up GTI engine, even with the same torque, 200 Newton meters. Only difference with this car is that we have it coupled to a 7-speed DSG gearbox, and it's actually quite a bit heavier than the Up GTI, but it should still feel pretty punchy. Well, let's go and get it on the road and see how this new updated T-Cross drives. Well, here we are inside the new T-Cross. I cannot believe it, but I don't think I've actually driven a T-Cross before. I got invited to the original launch in 2018 or 2019, but didn't go, and since then it's kind of evaded me. I've driven Tygo and T-Roc. But yeah, I'm weirdly looking forward to this. And even though it's a brand new car, it's still so familiar in here. I'm firmly of the belief that you will get used to all this new stuff, and particularly the new MIB4 infotainment screen. That is progress there. I know we don't have climate control separately like we do here, but I think we'll really get used to that. And it's such a big screen, this feels tiny in comparison. So give the new stuff a try, but there's nothing wrong with this old stuff, particularly at 30,000 quid on the road for this car with, you know, so much spec. So anyway, let's drive. Traditional key, whoopie-doo. And traditional shifter, it's not even the stubby one we get in the Golf 8. It's definitely not on the stalk like in Tiguan, the new Tiguan Plaid. I've actually got the shifter on here and the wipers have moved to the left-hand side. I haven't really tried that today on those other cars because it's not been raining. I've driven new Passat, new Tiguan today. Traditional handbrake as well. That really is a throwback. Okay, so into drive. There's a very distinctive thrum to this 1 litre TSI engine. Yeah, we're a bit heavier than an Up GTI. I think we're just over 1,200 kilograms for this car. Let me just check. Yeah, 1,300 kilograms versus 1,070 for the Up GTI. And in my total nerdiness, I've been able to calculate a torque to weight ratio. That's 154 Newton meters per ton in this car versus 187 Newton meters per ton in the Up GTI. So it's not going to be as accelerative as that car. And actually the 0 to 60 time does confirm that 10.3 to 60, which, yeah, it's a bit sluggish by modern standards, but we've got 7-speed DSG. I reckon the gears are going to be shorter than in the Up GTI. We'll find out if we can do 60 in second in a bit. But yeah, it's compact. We've got high driving position, got enough tech to make it easy to park around town, and the steering's lovely and light in this mode, which is the default mode. Yeah, normal. Okay, so let's get it onto some of the more typical roads here in Milton Keynes and see, well, firstly, what the ride quality is like, because we've got a very rudimentary rear axle. We haven't got dynamic chassis control, and we've got sporty aspirations to end an SUV, so not necessarily a good combination. Let's see how crashy it is. At least we've got a fair bit of sidewall on the tyres. Actually, over that divot, it was pretty smooth. There's a sunken manhole here. Wow. Yeah, it's not crashy, so that's good. As we pick up the speed, the steering weight picks up, so that's what you want. Cannot believe this is £30,000. But then I cannot believe I'm thinking the car's better value for money because it's jacked up a bit and you're just buying more air in the wheel arches. That is the thing about SUVs and why manufacturers like them, because that's all they have to do, sell you more air and you pay more money for it. If this was a Polo at 30k, would I feel it was such a good deal? Probably not. But then you can't get Rubber Ducky yellow for free on the Polo. So 7-speed DSG. It's different to the one we get in the bigger cars. They've refined it to the point where it's really hard to fault, even in this relatively basic car. It's super smooth. I'd really would love to drive an Up GTI with this drivetrain. You can get this combination in the Seat Ibiza, which is probably a bit closer to the Up GTI. I've got a warm bum. That's it, simple. Reasonably good traction. So I always get lost around Milton Keynes, but driving around these roundabouts is probably no bad thing for assessing the dynamics of a car. And actually, bear in mind we're sitting high up, it felt pretty composed then. It doesn't ride too badly. It's got basic suspension and it seems to go around corners. So standard ACC, I still can't believe that on this car at this price point. We have got lane assist, but you can turn that off really easy by pressing the button on the end of the stalk and then pressing OK on the steering wheel. It's almost like it's been designed to be turned off easily. And it's great to have this steering wheel, which is more modern than the ones in the Golf 7.5, but it doesn't throw the baby out with the bath water. So yeah, it's restyled, but it's still got the same functionality and really tactile proper buttons, which do cost Volkswagen more than the haptic. I'm pretty sure about it, but those haptic buttons have cost Volkswagen a lot of sales. So yeah, I think they've learnt a lesson with those. So while we're stuck in this traffic, the car's looking after itself. Lane assist is off, so I must remember that. Let's turn that back on. And yeah, we can just sit back and relax. Seat-wise, it's up quite high, and that's the lowest it goes, and that's still pretty high actually. I can see onto the top of the dashboard. Probably not as low as I'd like it normally, but then horses for courses, we are in an SUV, and you don't go and buy one of those and go and sit really low down. I don't know why this is in the door pocket, but yeah, a bit of an aerial rattling around there. Okay, let's see if we can outrun this Kia. Yep. So, up to 70 miles an hour. It's a gruff thing because it's 3 cylinders, but it does the job. It's definitely not as punchy as an Up GTI, but it isn't terrible. 200 Newton meter the torque is pretty chunky for a car of this size. Okay, clear run on this roundabout. We're behind a Golf R, and turn-in's good, just not understeering to this van. And then off we go to this next roundabout. Do you know what? I think I'm having fun in a T-Cross. I would have had that Golf R, I would have, honestly. Okay, so 60 miles an hour then, set the cruise, relax. Again, I'm amazed how refined it is. There's a little bit of wind noise, and this is quite an old design car, let's face it, it goes back to 2018, but it's not bad. There's no tyre noise, there's very little engine noise. We're moving up to 70 now. Let's press set on the cruise again. I will shut up so you can hear. There's the mic. And what RPM are we doing at 70? So that's 2,500, so it's not bad for 115 horsepower to have such low RPMs in a petrol car. This isn't the most modern drivetrain, and the MPG is pretty similar to what you'd get in, say, a Tiguan. It's much less than a Passat, and those cars have got mild hybrid system, they've got cylinder on demand technology, so things have moved on. But you know, for most people, 43 will be perfectly fine. Okay, I'm enjoying this so much, I'm actually going to take it on my special little test route off this dual carriageway. Let's just hope this Toyota Yaris Verso isn't going our way. Yeah, I'm not sure it knows which way it's going. I might have to be inspired by its number plate. Please don't turn right. Yay! Okay, second gear. So can we do 60 in second? Put it into... No, it's definitely got shorter gearing than the Up GTI, so that actually gives it a bit more punch than you might expect, and that helps it do quite a low RPMs at 70 miles an hour, because we've got 7-speed DSG rather than the 6-speed manual of the Up GTI. I really can't get over this chassis. It's as basic as it gets. We're sitting higher than the engineers would like. It rides well. But part of the beauty of this car is that it feels small. It's quite a narrow car, so it doesn't feel like we're taking up too much of this lane. There's room to manoeuvre if something is coming the other way over the white line. Right, let's reserve judgment on the chassis until we get around this corner. Incredible. I would say a lot of the dynamic excellence of this car comes from its relatively lightweight. It's, what is it, just 1,200 and something kilograms. In the great scheme of things, that's not a lot. So even though it sits higher, there's less weight moving around. If I was going to buy an SUV, I think it would have to be a T-Cross. A gearbox. Give me the gears as well. Well guys, there's a turn up for the books, but then again, it's not that surprising, is it? It's, you know, not too big, not too heavy, not too tall. It's got the brilliant Up GTI engine. If anything, it's got a better gearbox, which gives us shorter ratios when you want a bit of fun, and a high top gear when you want to cruise. They definitely have not messed this car up by doing what they've done to it. So yeah, as ever guys, thank you for watching this Volkswagen video. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon. But would I go for Rubber Ducky yellow? That's the question. Do I look like a Rubber Ducky yellow kind of guy? Let me know in the comments.